how to love in the devotional path is individual. How we love our friends, how we love our families and our partners and our pets and all our human and non-human relations. It's so individual. Yet there's a collective unity within that love that we can't speak about. How do you love? And how do you love? You can try to describe it, but it's always going to be beyond what we can describe. So Bhakti sits there in the indescribable love that we all know. It's not something that you learn. It's not something that you can research or find out from somebody. Someone can teach you. It's something that's already there. And it's just a question of us tapping into that place within ourselves. And so Bhakti Yoga, the idea of Bhakti Yoga, the word yoga in modern day Western culture and Eastern culture very much, also to a degree, has become synonymous with Hatha Yoga, which is the yoga of the body. Yoga means simply union. Union with that. And of course there are infinite ways to connect with the unspeakable. Hatha Yoga is one of them, where through the body, through movements of the body, and through certain practices and breathing and controlling what you eat in a very directed way, you can achieve a higher and higher state of connection and union. Similarly, Karma Yoga is achieving union through selfless service, through action. And it's a very high path and very intertwined with the path of Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is the path of achieving union through love. Love, devotion, as the highest path to God. Every yoga is the highest path, but for me, when I'm actively pursuing or participating in a yoga, it helps for me to invest completely in that method and say, this is absolutely it for me, and give it everything I got. And as a pure form of sadhana, of spiritual practice, the method itself takes care of the rest. So, through the stories that we hear from the folks that were with Maharaji, he didn't give very many teachings. He definitely didn't give lectures. He sometimes gave instructions which often contradicted the instructions he gave 15 seconds later. And there were an outpouring of miracles around him. Like when people would go to him, he would know what they were thinking earlier that day, what they were thinking before. So there was clearly the power of the siddhi of reading the mind. There was a power of manifesting in multiple places at once, which a physicist once to Ramdas, well, that can't happen because by the law of physics, you can't be more than one place at once. And Ramdas said, yes, I know, but he did it anyway. So there were all these amazing miracles. Yet, if you sit and talk with the folks that were with him, naturally the miracle stories will come forth as it's something to remember. But the commonality that everyone shares is the love that they felt. They say, and still feel to this day, that a moment with Maharaji changed the course of their lives, primarily due to the fact of the unconditional love that they felt coming from him. And It's a far out couple of words, unconditional love, which, get thrown around and it kind of makes its way into our day-to-day conversation. But if we think a little bit about the concept of unconditional love, if I was to ask you, what would you do if in this moment you knew beyond a doubt that you are unconditionally loved exactly as you are? What would your day look like? For me, there's nothing else to do. Turns out there's a lot of things that I do to play into that, or look for that, or work on that in myself. But knowing the presence of that unconditional love seems to put the universe in perfect harmony, even through the lens of our own minds. So because Maharaji was this son of unconditional love to all the devotees, they just sat there, immersed in this love. And after a certain while, they were like, well, is there anything we can do for him? He shares all of this with us just through the state of his being. Is there anything we can do for him? And they sooner or later found out that he likes to hear them sing. Through singing kirtan, which is what we've been doing, chanting the divine names, you can remember. You can remember all the divine forms of the Lord. And then through singing bhajans, you can remember stories of the play of the Lord. Now, Maharaji left his physical form in 1972, 71. But through the stories of countless devotees that still interact with him to this day, it leads me to believe really strongly, my own experience included, that he just left one form and he's hanging around in another. And that other form is really accessible to each of us all the time. Of course, our minds get in the way and our own stories get in the way and all that. For me, if I practice devotion and practice love or spontaneously drop into love, there he is. And for me, that's the most direct way to find him.